Clayton Bishop here with Leica Microsystems, and I want to show us how to go through the analysis module in LASX. So let me share my screen. Okay, so if you wanted to do 2D analysis in LASX, here's how we go about it. You have your image right here. I'm going to go up here to the top in analysis. Now we see a workflow over here on the left. You're going to start at number 1, select the image to measure. If it's not already up, you can go to the Explorer and choose whatever image it is you want to do your analysis on. Analysis is usually easier in monochrome or black and white. That is, color mode can be a little more challenging for analysis. So if you have the option, go with a monochrome image like this. You can set a pre-filter, not 100% necessary. In this case, we're going to be measuring the black dots. So I might choose to enhance the black detail right here or not. But you have these options here available beforehand. So I'm just going to make my blacks a little bit darker on the black and white spectrum right here. Cool. Adjust the threshold. So this is where you're going to want to make sure that the features you want analyzed are selected. So in this case, we want the dark particles selected. So I want that part of my histogram. So I can drag that out until I select them all. If I was looking for the white background, I would do the inverse of this on my histogram and select the white portion of the histogram scale. Since I want the dark, I'm going to come over here. We could also look at the middle by choosing that greater than, less than sign right there. But again, since the dark, I'm going to use this. One can also zoom in here, check accumulate, and they can click on the pixels they want themselves added. See that? Not too hard. I'm going to do that so that we select everything that we want counted. Okay. Next, we can put some pre-filters on before we start analyzing once we've already thresholded. So in this case, I want to count everything. So I'm going to click split touching. And that is going to look for overtly different shapes that may be connected. And it's going to draw lines between them. So now we can see each of these dots. I'm also going to add a filter called edge remove. Edge remove is going to get rid of anything that is touching the edges of the image so that we don't have biased areas for particles in this count. Cool. So these are just what two pre-filters did for us. You can add others if you want here. Like I'll add fill. And if there's any, uncounted portions within a specific particle that's clearly part of the particle, it will fill in. So we put on some more filters. Here's your binary image editing, where you could draw your own boundaries or add your own if you wanted. So the software did a pretty good job here, but if I wanted to, say, split this in half, I could. You have the option to do override manually with this. Measure frame. This is where you could choose to analyze the whole image or define it yourself. So if you only wanted to measure a part of this frame, you would do it in step 6. 100%, not 100% necessary, like step 2. Measurements is where we can apply specific 2D measurements to the image to, sort of filter out what we don't want. So I'm going to add one here. I'm going to add roundness because I only want the round shapes counted in here. And I'm going to choose that with 1 being the upper limit for roundness, it being a scale of 0 to 1. I'm going to say I want everything pretty round in here. So the lowest an object can have is a 0.8 roundness. We see when I did that, if you look right here, previously we were counting 1,145 different pieces. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to say 0.9. Now we're excluding 65 of them. We can look in here at what is being counted, what is not being counted. A lot of count going on in here. I could also add another one here like area. Press OK. Now let's see what is being counted and is what is not being counted, and remove anything that might be too small. So we see that good looking circle right there is 1651. I'm going to put a lower bound on this and say anything below 1500 microns squared we don't want. You see how that can remove more pieces. And go back here and we'll call it 1000 for now. Okay, so now we're only including bubbles that are very circular and that are large enough to be counted. So over 1000 microns squared and fairly round. We've excluded 72 features, that is those that aren't round enough or large enough or touching the edges. Classifier step, not really necessary, but if you wanted to split the features into 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different categories. Histogram is coming up next. With the histogram, you can go number of bubbles versus their area, and you can change these bin details and access options if you want, or the bin settings. Finally, in create report, now that you've done all the work, you can choose what you want added in your final report. If you want to change the template, you can do that right here. If you want to choose where it's saved, you can do that there, but we're going to press export. Great. And here is your report. Set right to Excel. It gives you the feature statistics, the histogram, the field measurements, all the images for you, and a nice front page. Come out of here. If we wanted to run this again and again, we could come right here and save these settings so that everything I've just done will be saved. So we'll call it dots. And now if I had more pictures like this, I could just run them under the same formula. I hope this was helpful for everybody. And if you have questions on LASX analysis, please reach out. Have a good one. Bye.